Hey guys, William here, aka Big Bastard, and I know it's been quite a while since I put up a video. A lot of it is because I have been busy with school and stuff. Fact is, even this summer I got job shadowing going on and trying to get my math up to par for Compass 1000 so that I can get into Math 1000 next fall. But part of it has been a little bit of me has been kind of discouraged about the whole um, loss of views when I put out a video. It seems like when I put out new videos, no one's really watching or responding. And at some point in time, like recently, I mean, heck, I went and seen Captain America Civil War. I knew I should put out a response video on that, given that I had done build up videos to it. But a part of me now realizes that it doesn't really matter. Views and replies don't really matter. I mean, in a way they do. But this is just something I need to do for me. And if I worry too much about how many people are watching or how people are responding or if anybody's responding, then I'm not doing either you guys or myself any justice. I just need to worry about getting content out and letting the people decide if that content's worth anything or not. It's a lot like writing. I do believe that I mentioned before that I want to be a published novelist, and YouTube's a lot like that. If I send out 100 query letters and get all rejections, you don't just give up and stop. And so after some reflection, I've decided that I'm going to try to upload on a more regular basis than I have been, regardless of what's going on. But today I want to talk about something very serious, and there's been a culmination of elements bringing this discussion together. The first of which is the tragic UCLA shooting that happened just yesterday. And, you know, it's one of those things that you can't say. I mean, with the information coming in as scarce, right now we can't say that the shooter did this for reasons of rage or that, but it does. The act was definitely an act of rage, and it does open up a forum for discussion on issues of rage. And I had also seen a clip on the news of a car attempting to run over in a road rage incident, attempting to run over a motorcycle with two passengers. This wasn't on the footage, but the news reporter noted that before, the motorcyclist and the driver of the car had words, apparently, and then the driver of the car just basically vented on the motorcycle by trying to run it over. And we hear these things, and we first of all console ourselves with the fact that we will never be like that. We also tend to pass judgment on people who do that. Well, I'm here to tell you that I could easily be, at any point in time, be any one of those people. I've always had an issue with temperament. I've always had an issue with rage. And though I've never gotten in a fight, never started a physical altercation, I'm more of a verbal aggressor. It does really bring to mind, for me, my own character faults and the repercussions that could actually happen when we give in to our anger, when we give in to our rage. And even after watching all this, it seems pretty distant from us. And we learn without learning. We see how others rage and others' responses to rage cause these decisions, but then we end up not taking that into our own lives. We end up not facilitating that in our lives. Well, for me, last night actually, I have very visceral reminder of how our own rage can cause situations, bad situations, to come about for us and others. And in this dream, basically, it starts with a dream. And in this dream, I just so you know a little background. I live on a communal property with family, and next door is this way lives an uncle that I not very fond of, and have had my own rage issues with. Though I've never aggressed on him except for once. Uh, and by this I mean verbal aggression, not physical. We have neighbors that way who live in a farm who I am not uh, very fond of. And in fact, the female, well, I don't know if they're married or not, but you could consider her the wife. Long story how this came about. But she tends towards a lot of physical aggression, or I mean verbal aggression, and I wouldn't be surprised if she was also the physically aggressive type. Fact is, in one incident that involved said uncle, he had he used to be an alcoholic. He's not no more, for which I do commend him. But he was over. Apparently, he had tried getting out of the vehicle over at his place and fell to the ground. People were out there helping him. I had something else I was working on. I wasn't too worried about. He was in capable hands, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but frankly, if he just laid there, rotted, and died, I really would not have cared. Well, this gal, who supposedly was a friend of his, comes over, storms into the house, and starts screaming at me how I should be out there helping my uncle, helping in the situation with my uncle. And I told her repeatedly, we got face to face, and I told her repeatedly to get out of the house. She did not do so. She did not yield to my request. And at that point, I grabbed her right arm and I told her, you need to get out of here before I do something that we're both going to regret. Finally, she did leave, but obviously I should have controlled myself better. And, we talk about lessons learned, and it's been a long process and a long time for me to learn these lessons. She had triggered my flashpoint. Fortunately, my flashpoint is now a lot higher than it used to be, but I still have that temperament, as I was discussing. Well, back to the dream. So yesterday I had a dream that me and this said uncle that I was talking about was working on a fence line here, and a neighbor who doesn't exist in real life, a grizzled old man who I've never seen, come over, and he was basically bitching us out about a leaning post in the fence. And he was very upset over it. And I basically told him, I turned and I told him basically in no uncertain terms that it was none of his goddamn business what was going on our property and how our fence post was leaning. He and my uncle was standing a little distance away from me, and the man was directly opposite him. At this point, the man takes out a revolver, shoots my uncle, then turns. I had yelled no. I had rushed to try to stop him, but I was a distance away. He turns the gun on me and shoots me, and I basically lose consciousness in the dream. And I had woken up after that. So you can see that perhaps certain things like dreams and that can serve as more visceral reminders of things that we should have known already or should have incorporated into our lives already. And I woke up and it really got me thinking. And this isn't something that people talk about a lot, especially as one of their own faults. And it's not something people talk about a lot in general. You go on YouTube, there's a lot of talk about games, there's a lot of talk about social issues, there's a lot of talk about other things. But people rarely address rage itself and directly. And so I hope that this video, if it does anything, gets people to not only think about the issue but discuss about it, and also gets people to self-reflect, because I know that the issue of rage is a lot bigger than people want to believe it is, and I know that that starts in our own backyard, and I know that we are more responsible than we ever wish to acknowledge. So that's pretty much it for this rambling video, if you will, and I am going to sign off for now. And like I said, I will start trying to put out more content, because I do feel that, again, I am not being fair to you guys. I'm not being fair to myself if I'm not putting it out there just because of numbers or just because of responses. And so I will try to keep up to my end of the bargain on that, and whatever happens, happens. Thank you for watching. This is Big Bastard signing out. I'll see you soon.